Hello everyone, the following is a summary of floods, a natural disaster which is profound information about human strength in facing disasters, and at the same time, a call for solidarity to combat the negative effects of climate change. Now, let's go. When a flash flood occurs, it often carries soil, rocks, plants, and other materials, creating an unpredictable and destructive force. Powerful water waves can sweep away everything in their path, from small houses to large roads. The water level rose so fast that it swept away the bridge dividing two small villages, causing for people who cannot move. The rainfall over the past several days has eroded the land, causing many houses to collapse and float down the stream. The dangerous flood swept away cars. Fortunately, no one was in these cars. This not only causes property damage, but also creates a great risk to security and human life. November 15, 2023, heavy rain caused massive floods in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Wreaking havoc on coastal city, flooding has submerged homes, businesses, and streets, affecting thousands of residents. Heavy rain began on Tuesday evening and continued throughout the night, with some areas receiving more than 200 mm of rain. The sudden flood overwhelmed the city's drainage system, causing flash floods to sweep through residential areas. 2 people were swept away by the flood, but fortunately they were okay. Strong tornadoes cause localized flooding in cities and deserts. Extreme weather conditions have disrupted daily life. Thousands of people were forced to leave their homes and seek refuge underwater. Streets turned into impassable streams. Cars float across streams like toy boats. The first floors of most buildings were knee-deep in water. Damage to infrastructure causes serious hardship. There was even small hail in the central region. Flooding has affected traffic. More than a dozen cars were completely submerged. Flash floods paralyzed the area due to the effects of seasonal rains. Thousands of people were forced to leave their homes and seek refuge underwater. No casualties were reported. Large amounts of water accumulate in desert areas. Heavy rain flooded the entire city, and the flood submerged roads, hindering people's transportation. Buildings and infrastructure were also affected by the disaster. Rescuers worked at the scene, helping victims and restoring infrastructure. Unexpected heavy rain caused major flooding in Loque, Paraguay. Water covered the city, and many houses were submerged. Local authorities have declared a state of emergency to cope with the disaster. Rescuers and volunteers are working at full capacity to evacuate victims. Schools and offices are closed, and people prefer to stay in safer places. Heavy rains cause catastrophic mud flows, making the situation worse. Flooding also caused power outages in some areas. Authorities urge people to follow safety protocols and stay in safe areas. An incident occurred on January 17, 2022 in Canelones, Uruguay. Intense rains in the last hour across the country caused many floods in Montevideo and affected thousands of services. The floods affected in the morning. Rescue teams were deployed to deal with the collapse of trees and power lines. In addition, the construction of flood-proof infrastructure, such as water-regulating dikes, can play an important role. Important in preventing and mitigating the impact of floods. Flood risk management is also an important part of a sustainable strategy to protect communities and assets. The rising floodwaters caused the house to be swept away by the river, and the bridge damaged all the people's houses. In 2015, a sunny summer took a sudden turn when heavy rains hit Norway. The relentless rain caused rivers to begin to rise, flood warnings were issued, and people quickly prepared for difficult days ahead. The small town on the riverbank began to become an island amid the ever-increasing flow of water. Traditional houses, which seemed safe, are now victims of the forces of nature. Ambulance and police forces worked day and night to evacuate residents and bring them to safe areas. The rushing water has overwhelmed the green valleys, turning the plain into a vast sea. The white barley fields have now turned into a dark patch of floodwaters. Roads and bridges began to collapse, traffic was paralyzed, and ambulance service became difficult. Drone footage captured the moment a house collapsed into the Mendenhall River in Alaska after ice flooding. Record floods occurred in Alaska's capital, Juneau. The government regularly introduced measures to reserve and minimize damage from floods. This may include building warning systems, managing river basins, and providing support to those affected. Emergency response plans are also implemented to help communities face emergency situations. Thanks for your watching. Hope you have time to feel about climate change. Please like, share, and subscribe to get more of our updates every day. Goodbye and see you again.